have been coping for, especially those long-term residents, have been coping for a long time with the problems of noise. And I hope the tape of this is going to be available to those that are actively on the staff of the airport. I regret that Matt Majoli, who is a very competent and very conscientious man dealing with the noise monitoring effort, was not able to be here, and I hope that he will have a chance to hear the tape, because I think he will be impressed and learn something, as I certainly learned. I guess I have the feeling that there's something broken, if you will, between the numbers which are provided by the noise staff and the airport's consultant relative to the noise impact, following the standard methods that are applied both in the Santa Monica regulation and in the California airport noise regulation. Those numbers suggest, in fact, that the noise level or that the noise impact is either not going up or is actually going down slightly. But in fact, clearly with the fact of the higher number of jet aircraft and the obvious impact that's being expressed here tonight, something isn't quite working right. So I'm suggesting that there really needs to be a careful reassessment of the methodology of assessing noise impact for the type of airport that Santa Monica represents in such a very unique way. And part of that impact, I would hope, would be obtained by, or part of that improvement would be obtained by pressuring NASA, which is very aggressively trying to do something dealing with further noise reduction. Historically, there's been a tremendous change from the 1970s to today. But there is more yet to be done, and they are aggressively working on it. But they do need some support, I think, in terms of pressure and perhaps budget support from Congress to get the NASA Vehicle Systems Division activity more properly funded, to try to do something more aggressively in dealing with aircraft noise and emission reduction. Both of those are part of their mission. I guess finally, touching on an area which I'm totally unqualified to comment on, because air quality is not my expertise. I only thought, in hearing the various discussions, that a broad system, out-of-the-box system approach seems to be desirable or may be helpful for the emission problem, looking at operations, hardware, totally out-of-the-box concepts. And I think there's a good room for improvement there. And again, I will try to perhaps put some of these thoughts on paper, and I thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Well, thank you, Lou, for your comments. And before Gene speaks and Marty speaks, the airport commissioner who spoke last wanted to throw one more element in, and please tell us your full name.
It's Yoram Tal.
Great.
I just go by Tal to make it easier for mispronunciation.
And your point was?
There's actually a small solution on the table for one of the major problems, which is safety. It is the Airport Conformance Program. It is, in a nutshell, a plan designed by the airport staff to shave about 300 feet of each side of the airport runway. What this will do, besides a major safety buffer zone, it will eliminate about 50% of the existing jet traffic, because the big jets will no longer be able to land at Santa Monica Airport. Now, just one second. There's another very important point about this. When you go to the FAA today and say, I want to build an airport, you have to have those safety zones. Our airport, Santa Monica Airport, does not have them. And right now, it is stalled at the FAA, and we're waiting for an answer to hear, why can't we just do it? It's there. It's shortening the runway to allow more safety. As all of you know, if, God forbid, there is a jet accident, it's going to shave 3 city blocks on whatever side of the airport, and that's personally in my house as well as your house. So this is, again, my call, and I forgot to mention it earlier. It's my call to you, the representatives of the representatives, to ask what is going on with that. How come the FAA is not approving its own recommendations for our airport?
What I'd like to do with that, because that's a significant comment you just made.
Yes.
That you just said it would shave in half the number of jets that would be able to use the airport. Is that correct?
Yes. At the press release that was released by the Friends of Sunset Park. That information is there. I believe it's the B-2 and C-2 class aircraft.
Okay,
which
so what we'll do is again, with Edgar Sands here from Congresswoman Maxine Waters' office, and also we know we have strong support from Henry Waxman and Jane Harmon. Please get with him right now and let us get this in motion so we can get some federal support for what you just shared with us, which was startling for me to hear, and I appreciate you coming back up. Thank you. Gene, you're up.
Thank you. I don't know that I have too much more to add than what's already been said, but I would like to thank Councilman Rosendahl for inviting us here. And I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight and sharing the information and concerns that you have. I think that's very helpful to us in finalizing the design of our study and selecting the sites that we might want to look at to put our monitors in. Martin and Susan have been very helpful to us in setting up this program, and we look forward to working with them further and with the Councilman's office in hopefully getting this study successfully completed. And the last thing I do want to emphasize is that you know, it's not a health study that we're doing, it's an air monitoring study. Although we will be monitoring, as was mentioned, a number of toxic substances and particulates and ultrafine particles. And in fact, this will be the first time that the district is measuring ultrafine particles. It is a special study that we're doing. And I know the feds have been picked on a bit tonight. But I do want to say that they are funding this study. We are paying for it with a grant from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. And hopefully the information we have will be useful in drawing attention to this issue and provide some backup for some good solutions. Thanks.
Thank you very much for that. And now I'd like to give Marty a moment.